Diary of a Cat Mom.
Welcome to Diary of a Cat Mom, a gentle space for cat lovers who love their cats like family.
Emergency vet visit with Max. That's the topic I want to share today. So something what for sure nobody wants to get into the situation is that you see that your cat needs help or is injured or behaves unusual. Max is normally a cat who likes to hide. So it's one of the bush cats. So he likes to hide and he's more on the quieter side, but he's very loving. So on that day, I fed him and he didn't want to eat. And that was very unusual because Maxie likes to eat totally. And then I touched him, and normally, because he's shy, normally he will run away and do more like hide and seek. So I have to get him. And then when I get him, so then I can touch him, then he is very loving. And in this case, he didn't run and he was loving immediately. So I knew something was wrong. And then when I picked him up, it was like a sack of potatoes. Like he let everything totally hang. That's not like Max at all, no energy. So from my former experiences, things like that, when the cat behaves unusual and I go to the emergency vet for a visit, then normally it's always in the more higher end price range. So mentally I had that and I was good prepared, and everybody who never got into a situation like that, it's good when at least it helped me. It's good to think about it in advance. What would you do? What do you need to take with you? As when you get in the situation, you're so overwhelmed emotionally, you cannot think of that. So like they asked me when he was born, if he's neutered, if he has all his rabies shots updated. So that's always good to know in general. I called the vet in advance to let them know, first to make sure they're open and not closed for any holiday or any other incident. And then second, to let them know that I'm coming. So she already asked me the question, so I didn't have to go there, drive there, and then stay in line, nervous and sad and emotionally to answer the question. Was for sure something I would recommend, that you call in advance and let them know you're coming with the little one. And then as we arrived there, I only had to wait for a few minutes and then came into the room and they checked his blood pressure and it was pretty low. And then they said too, he looks dehydrated and he's on the lower end energy, but I really was not prepared of what the diagnosis is. And they took his full blood test, and they took x-rays. So they did a full check, and then they came back with what I was totally unprepared for. And that was finding out he has diabetes. And not just diabetes, but he had the keto type, like their toxins already in the body and in the kidney, and they were not sure if there are toxins in the urine. So that was pretty shocking. I did not expect he could have diabetes. He never showed me any signs I could have a clue of, like weight loss or drinking a lot of water. At least that's what I heard, what diabetes in cats is. Then came the bill, and the bill was on the higher side because of the body being so toxic. They had to take him in, and he had to stay there for several nights. And I was emotionally, I was totally unprepared. First, to hear he had diabetes and he was doing so bad, but second, really, that his life would change totally, because it's different as if they have a puncture wound or have crystals in the urine, or if they have something on what can be fixed just with medicine. But this was really something. And also the question, and I'm pretty sure all the vets asked that, do you want to treat him and then explain what the treatment would be, or do you want to humanely euthanize him? And that was a shock to me, that there was no other option. So one, which was in the whole higher price range, and the other being ready to say goodbye to him. And I was not ready to say goodbye to him. So now looking back, a day later, it's a tough situation when you're on your own and you're in and emotionally you have to make decisions like that, especially if they come unexpected. So another thing I think would be wonderful if you could, as a thought, that you take a friend with you, or you take your partner with you, or take your mom with you. At least you have somebody to discuss it with. Because if it's an emergency that most time is in the night or over the weekend, so you cannot easily, especially in the night, cannot easily reach somebody per phone to ask them. So that for sure was again a learning experience for the next time, to just think of it ahead and think of what could be, because like in my situation, I didn't have emergency room cases like this. There was mostly they got injured from fights and they needed stitches or they needed medicine to take care of that. So far it was a totally new life experiences, and I'm not sure what's coming because I don't have another cat which has diabetes. But for sure, I can see that first because of the totally change in lifestyle, and second because of the cost, and third because of the life quality which Maxi will require after he's back home. So that's for sure something what's close to my heart, where I want to find out more how in advance it can be seen that there are signs for just like an illness like that, diabetes, so that you could, or I could have done on in the future with my other kitties, could have done preventative actions, which I for sure for the next one will do. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being on my journey of creating life qualities for kitties so that they have a better life, make all of us happy.
Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Give your cat an extra soft touch tonight. And I'll meet you back here tomorrow.
Diary of a Cat Mom.